Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to the Mindfulness Daily Practice. Yesterday was about I love you. What does I love you mean, and when do we use those words? And what do those words mean? And they do mean something different as they come out of my mouth than when they land on your ear. And they do mean something different when they're not in English. The word love in English has a different resonance inside of us. And especially as I've learned Chinese, right, I realize that when we speak other languages, that nothing really translates 100%. So know that words are representations of concepts. And it doesn't mean, though, that they don't resonate something inside of you, because they certainly do. And saying words and hearing words will cause emotions to rise up. And I think that's kind of where I want to get started today. So as we talk about today's topic, which is why bother loving my enemy anyway? It's a hard thing to do. I don't want to do it. My enemy doesn't deserve love. My enemy it doesn't deserve my love anyway. My enemy has done these things that have wronged me. So why should I? After all, shouldn't I just be angry, and shouldn't I? I want to seek revenge. Why can't I do that instead? So these are some interesting questions. We'll get into them as we chat a little bit more today. But first, just to talk about that, and not the words "I love you" specifically, but any kind of using words, using language. I mean, after all, the gentle repetition we do in our loving kindness practice and our compassion practice, the well wishes, they are words, right? May you be happy and content. May you be safe and protected. These are words, but behind those words, there is some kind of feeling, something inside of us that's greater than those words, right? And I think that's what's interesting, is hearing the words "I love you," saying the words "I love you" create a different kind of feeling inside of you. And so similarly, when we're sending out these well wishes, it also creates some kind of feeling inside of us. And so this is one of the reasons to do it, and towards the enemy, as we say inside of our minds, may they be happy and contented. It's hard to continue to harbor resentment towards that person when you're wishing them well. May they be safe and protected, free from inner and outer harm, right? Like these, as we're sending out these well wishes, as we're saying these things in our minds, it's impossible to continue harboring that kind of pain and resentment, and not that the pain necessarily goes away, but the resentment, the desire for revenge. You can see that by doing this, it starts to melt away the difficult feeling you have towards them, and allows you to connect with them. And so this kind of gets to the main purpose. So why bother sending out well wishes, connecting with our enemy? The number one reason is for yourself. It's because it isn't healthy for you to harbor feelings of anger and resentment and to hold on to anger. Holding on to anger just causes additional stress, and stress isn't healthy for you. And so this is it's the number one reason for this is for yourself, is to help to heal yourself. And again, as we've talked in the past, sending well wishes out, loving your enemy, doesn't mean you need to give her or him a phone call and say, "Hey, let's be buddies again. Let's reconnect." It doesn't mean this. It does mean just a changing of attitude. Remembering that no matter what they do, what their what their actions are, however strange it may seem to you, that they think somewhere down deep inside them that their actions are going to lead to them being happier. And even if it isn't immediate happiness, maybe they have some kind of really long-term strategy about how this cruelty is going to make them happier in the future. And so I think that's something that all of us can relate to. We all want to be happy. We all want to be healthy and feel peaceful and safe. And we all want to be loved. You know, a lot of sometimes the root of resentment and anger has to do with this lack of being loved. So this is really kind of the root as to where. So what we're trying to do here is to help ourselves, is to help kind of dissolve the anger and bitterness that we may have, so that we can be free from the shackles of anger and bitterness. So that's the first step. And of course, as we reach out with kindness and compassion to those who we find challenging, it might begin to change the way that we respond and interact with them in the future. And this might be a catalyst for change for them. And again, there's only one person in the world that you can change, and that's you. So not to have any expectation, but it might give them some kind of oh, interesting, why is that like this? And again, it's easy to think that we're doing it and to still be passive aggressive at the same time. So I mean, this is something that takes a lot of work, and I say there's probably a lot of meditation to be involved in before we're able to really rebuild some of that those feelings of kindness towards that person. And this isn't an easy practice by any means. This is one of the harder ones, but I mean, this really is the key piece is for yourself. And then beyond that, right? Like anger begets anger, right? And love can also generate more love. And I just wanted to share a quote from Martin Luther King, right? The great Martin Luther King. Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy to a friend. And I think that's something that we kind of forget, and it's especially in these times where everything's so divisive, where we feel very polarized. Like, I feel this way, this is my view, that person feels that way, and these things that divide us. When we look at it, our genetic code is 99.9% the same. We are very similar to each other. We want the same things. We're all down deep programmed for the same stuff, and we tend to forget this over time. And it's easy for us to end up harboring hatred and fear and really not wanting to connect because of this anger and resentment that's harbored. So today we'll do. So today's practice will be a little bit different. I'm going to invite you to bring up a challenging situation in your mind. So a situation that you've had perhaps with a challenging person, and the situation I'd like you to imagine is not like a 10 on the scale of 1 to 10, not the most intense thing that you can think of, but more around like the area of a 6, somewhere where we can actually do some work and apply some of these principles. And so the 3 steps of compassion is mindfulness, seeing similarities, and offering kindness. So we're going to work on the second part as well a little bit more today. So welcome everybody. So we're going to go ahead and get into our practice. So get comfortable. Get yourself into any comfortable posture. Settle in. If you like, allowing your eyes to close. And then noticing the body sitting here, or lying here if you've chosen to lie down today. Feeling the body here, noticing the head, the face, the neck, just tuning into any normal sensations that you feel. The shoulders, the arms, the hands, the upper back, mid back, lower back, the chest, the abdomen, moving with the breath, the pelvis, the thighs, the knees and lower legs, the ankles, the feet and the toes. So here I am, here is this body here right now. Doing nothing, but breathing. The heart is beating. The digestive system is working. So maybe taking a few moments just to pay attention to the body breathing. And so when you're ready, just like to invite you to bring that situation into your mind, the one that's a 6. So maybe you had a challenging interaction with a challenging person. Can you bring that situation into your mind? So it could be something that happened between you and a coworker. It could be you and a family member. Situation where maybe your emotions got the better of you. So bring into mind the details about the content of the situation. What was it that you were arguing about? What was it that you didn't agree on? And now bring into mind the conditions around that encounter. Where were you? What time of day was it? What was the weather like? Can you remember details of your surroundings? Details about the emotions you were feeling. Bodily sensations that you may have been feeling. And what may have been at stake for you? Down deep, what were you really trying to get? So was there more at stake than what was at the surface? Was there perhaps part of you? Did it cause you to question, am I a good person? Am I worthy of love and respect? What did this situation say about me? Was any of that threatened? And then looking at the action you took. And so pausing here for a moment. Connecting again with your breath. Feeling each breath. And now returning to that scenario, however, this time, seeing if you can put yourself in the shoes of the other person. This person wants to be happy. This person wants to be respected. This person wants to feel safe. This person wants to know that they're a good person as well. So with this in mind, how do you think they approach this situation? What was it that they were trying to get down deep inside? May go beyond the surface of what they were talking about. Maybe also their capability was at question. It's natural to want to defend ourselves and deny, especially when something about us comes into question, something that we value and hold true about ourselves. And so let's take a few deep breaths now. One more deep breath. And now let's come back to that situation one more time from our point of view. So maybe having taken the perspective of the other person, your course of action changes. Maybe you realize that the way you reacted wasn't the most useful, compassionate solution. And maybe there's another way you could have reacted. Maybe there's something that would have been better for both of you. It could have been simply disengaging from the confrontation. Could be changing what you said. Just thinking through what might have been the most productive solution. And in fact, it might have been what you did. There might not have been anything for you to change. So just thinking through, what is the most compassionate course of action I could have had? And so now on your next exhale, as best you can, releasing this situation from your mind. And in fact, if you feel that you're having trouble releasing this, then on your next inhale, clenching your fists tightly, so breathing in deeply. And then as you exhale, slowly opening your palms. Coming back to observing the breath. Observing the body in this moment. Feeling the breath coming in and going out of the body. And so now we'll begin to draw our practice to its close, and I'll close practice with 3 rings of the bell. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining in this kind of alternative practice today. But the real idea here is to see, why give compassion to your enemies. Maybe it's possible for a different way. Maybe there was something different that we can do that's not only better for our enemy, but it's also better for us as we let go and we make decisions that are less driven by emotion and more based on what's the best for this situation, and also doing this perspective taking, remembering that they're not out to get you for the sake of being out to get you, that there's something behind it, something down deep inside that this person's fighting for. So thanks for joining today. Have a look at the chat here as we bring our practice to its close. How'd it go today? Who did you bring into mind? If you feel like sharing, what happened? What did you notice as you brought your perspective to the perspective of the other person? And Barbara says, why compassion for my enemies deep down is to reduce my own suffering. Thanks, Barbara. That's very true. And I really love this quote from Martin Luther King. Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. I just think that with so much divisive thinking and divisiveness out there in the world today, that this is something. It's really like I'm right and you're wrong. This is not the way to help someone to be able to have a little look at your perspective. John says this is a really good approach to deal with a difficult situation or person. Yeah, thanks, John. Thanks for giving it a try. I think that this is it's interesting to see. Well, especially a lot of times when we have these difficult situations, it's gone, and then we just kind of push it out and go, okay, this is done. I finished this. We don't ever bother to revisit it. And this kind of revisiting it with intention, especially now, because now we're on the other side of it. We can look at it without being so emotionally charged. So when we're less emotionally charged, maybe we can see with a bit more clarity and go, oh, actually, now that I look at it, I realize what this person was after. And it wasn't as nefarious as I thought it was. Dirk says, I try to be extra nice to my enemies and see that they do not understand. I think that's really interesting as well. Is a lot of times one of the things that plagues us, it plagues our enemies, but it also plagues us, is ignorance. How can we possibly know what that person is going through? How can we possibly know every aspect of the situation? And of course, how can we know what we don't know as well? How can you figure out how to learn the things that you don't even know you don't know, right? So ignorance is an interesting topic as well. So thanks, Dirk, for bringing it up. And Cece says, yes, when I hold a grudge, I feel resentful and I feel stressed and sick inside. Absolutely. And that's it. That's another good reason to try our best to let go. And one of the ways to let go is through that compassion. Remember, this is a human being just like me who has difficulties and struggles the same way that I do, that is suffering and wishes to be free from suffering just like me. So may they be happy. May they be safe. May they be healthy. May they be at peace. So thanks, everybody. Let us close our practice with some well wishes to ourselves and each other. And then I'll see you tomorrow. The topic for tomorrow is compassion for those less fortunate than ourselves. So look forward to it. Okay, so let's do it. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone watching, listening right now, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. May all sentient life throughout the universe, even those we don't know about, those yet to be born, I wish them all happiness and peace. All right, take care. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.